Let's get to it here on a Twin Peaks Talk About It Tuesday. You heard a little talk coming into this segment. Let's fire off the big open and get right into it, Solana.
On Tuesdays, Hoch and Crowder talk about it.
Pick 3 restaurants to eat at for the rest of your life.
Talk about it.
How often are you changing your toothbrush?
Talk about it.
Pecan or pecan?
Talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
By the way, we have a $50 gift card for Twin Peaks every day this week. So just keep on listening for your chance to win. Twin Peaks Eats, Drinks, Scenic Views.
I'll start here. I want to test where you guys are at right now, okay? What quarterback wide receiver combo duo would you rather have entering next season? And be honest here, okay? Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase.
Today.
It is. 29. I'm older than Joe Burrow. That's weird. Or he's 28, excuse me. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase entering next year. Or Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill.
Talk about it.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. No brainer for me. Tua and Tyreek. And don't get me wrong. Listen, Burrow's an excellent quarterback. Jamar Chase, excellent receiver. When Tua and Tyreek are hitting, when that offense is humming, that to me is poetry in motion. I'm a big Tua fan. I'm a big Tua stan. I take him over Joe Burrow. Which is really the question, by the way, I think. Because
it's easily.
If I said to you, would you rather have Tyreek or Jamar Chase? Who would you take?
Jamar Chase. He's younger. He had 14 receptions prime time when they're doubling him. He's going crazy. Right now, Burrow is the top in all numbers. That defense is letting Cincinnati down. Jamar Chase is now number 1 in all receiving categories. Catches, touchdowns, yards. Jamar Chase is going to be higher than Tua on all the rankings this season. Jamar Chase can create way better than Tua. He's a legit receiver. Tyreek's very fast. I love, and I'm not on Solana's side with the hate for Tua, but if I had to pick a guy, I'm taking Burrow and Chase out of Cincinnati.
Yeah, I love me some Tua. I will rep for Tua over just about anybody.
Jamar Chase doesn't have 1 catch games for 8 yards. He just doesn't.
Give me Tua and Tyreek all day, every day.
You can't scheme against Jamar Chase, in other words. You just can't. You just have to hope that by double teaming him, he's not going to catch every pass. And clearly, unfortunately, we've learned this year, you can scheme to keep Tyreek Hill from beating you. We just can't.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think there's more to it than that, because what you're saying by that is that Jamar Chase is a 10 times better receiver than Tyreek Hill. And I refuse to go there.
Not 10 times. Right now, he said, if you had to choose right now, Tyreek's a 9 and Jamar Chase is a 10.
No, what I'm saying is, if he's saying you can scheme Tyreek right out of a game, then he's not an elite receiver. And if you cannot scheme Jamar Chase out of a game, he is. And then the chasm between the two would be great. And I don't think the chasm between the two is great. I think there's more to why Tyreek hasn't gotten as many catches, targets, or yards this season.
If you put Tyreek in the Cincinnati offense, I would love to see that. I would love to see what they get. Bro, last night, and I don't know if it's recency bias, he had 14 receptions last night while getting double teamed. Jamar Chase is special. He had a game this year. He had 265 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's leading the league in every receiving category on a bad team. That defense can't play worth a damn. And Joe Burrow's special. Okay, Hawk, the other side of it. I could argue both ways with Jamar Chase and Tyreek. Joe Burrow is more efficient, better passer than Tua.
I don't know if he's more efficient.
He's a better quarterback.
I don't know if I'm willing to go there. I really don't.
Really?
I think statistically, Tua's probably better. Statistically.
No, not this year. And then when Tua's down, Joe Burrow's always right there. Tua balled last year, but Joe is special. Tua's special too, but I think Joe's a little better. I could argue either way.
Take out the 4 games Tua didn't play. I imagine if you looked at the records and the stats of all the games Tua played this season versus Joe Burrow, I bet Tua leads in just about everything.
I don't think so. Because I was looking at the game last night with the numbers that Joe Burrow's putting up. He's putting up MVP numbers, but the team's terrible, so that's why nobody talks about it.
I think that was a good start. I don't want to pile on the Dolphins, so this won't officially be a Talk About It Tuesday, but I did have this written down. Would you rather experience another 3rd or 4th and short handoff to anybody in the Dolphins backfield, or literally get diagnosed with the Black Plague? Because I think I'm going with the Black Plague.
It is crazy because I feel like season 1, Mike McDaniel was a wizard in that situation. Yeah. I feel like it. Maybe I'm misremembering it, but I feel like he was a wizard in that situation, and I feel like now he just doesn't know what he's doing there.
I really think I'm not the Sean Elliott who's just calling out people for mental toughness and all. I don't think we're built I've said this for years now, very graceful, very schematic, but we're not built just to whoop nobody's tail. We don't even get in I formation. We run.
What would be? I had lunch with a friend of mine at yes. I told you at CC's today, and he said to me, "What would prevent them? Let's say you're not going to run forward like Josh Allen at the goal line, right? And barrel people over. Why wouldn't you give the ball to Patrick Paul 4 plays in a row at the 1 or 2 yard line, just assuming that he can move the line far enough to get in? Like, because you're missing that element when you get down to the goal line. You know Tua is not going to run it in. Every other team, you got to be worried about that. Tua's not going to run it in. So why not have a big giant man like Patrick Paul have 4 carries?
Because they're going to bust him in his elbow and he's going to fumble and we're going to be upset.
Well, you tell him, hold on to the ball.
It sounds good. No, you know what? To answer your question, we need an offensive line and put a running back behind them 7 yards deep and come straight downhill.
Well, that's Mostert, right? But it's not him anymore.
Jeff Wilson. Like, why don't we run straight at them in the A gap like every other team does on 3rd and 4th and short? But I've seen Raheem Mostert get hit in the backfield on 3rd and short week after week after week.
Beasley told us on Game Day Uncensored that since McDaniel's been the head coach, the Dolphins, over 3 years, are last in the league by a wide margin in those short-to-gain situations. He said, like, they've converted 50% of them. The next closest team to them is like 58, 59%. Like, the gap is insanely
I think part
bad.
of it is because you literally can't force Tua forward like you can with a lot of quarterbacks. So it's one less thing a defense has to worry about.
Yep. Yeah. No one's concerned with the quarterback sneak with the Dolphins. Nobody.
Which is why they brought in Jacoby Brissett. Was that the I'm not kidding you. Was that the first Tua season?
No, that was Flores. The first year Tua started. The second year after Fitzpatrick had gone, Jacoby was the backup. They brought out Jacoby one time, QB sneak. The next time they brought out Jacoby was a package on 3rd or 4th and 1. They started doing these play actions where he would actually fake the handoff, do a bootleg, and try to throw it deep. It was maddening.
It's too cutesy. A great word Hawk uses all the time. The Philadelphia Eagles line up in that tush push. You know it's coming. They're going to get 2 yards every time. Jalen Hurts has so many rushing touchdowns for 8 inches because they know we're going to physically dominate you. The Dolphins cannot physically dominate anybody. They can schematically outspeed you and track meet and all the stuff we get excited about with the offense that scored 70 against the Denver Broncos. But when they need to go down and get 8 inches, the other team knows we are more physical than you.
All right, good round. A little too sportsy for
I give
my
it to
liking.
Patrick Paul. You want to do one more quick one? I know we're out of time. You want to do one more quick one?
The rookie tackle gets all the short yardage carries.
That's right. Hey, you're big for a reason.
Who
put the ball in the end zone.
Who were you with at lunch? Because I don't want to talk to him about sports.
Hey, you're big. Get the ball in the end zone.
Refrigerator Perry, huh?
They used to give it to Refrigerator Perry. Come on. Hey, get in the end zone. You're a big fella, right? You a big fella? You're a man or a mouse? Get the ball in the end zone.
And no other team has done it since Refrigerator Perry. How about they run behind Patrick Paul and say, Patrick Paul, are you a man or a mouse? Push this DN in the end zone so that Raheem Mostert or Jeff Wilson or Achane can run right up your butt crack and fall in the end zone as well.
Christian Wilkins.
Get Zion Williamson.
Doing that.
Have him run the ball in.
Zion Williamson. He can't stay healthy in basketball.
Did you want to do another one or no?
We're just not. Everything I have written down is
going to be too long.
Yeah, it's going to lead us into a rabbit hole. We just don't have time.
That literally, I think we did PTI. I'm not certain we did talk about it Tuesday. I think we did pardon the interruption.
Yeah, nothing else had to do anything with sports, by the way. I apologize. We got a little carried away there with the sports debate. I was surprised.
Well, you hit a hot button topic for this show.